Hello and welcome to this edition of Salem on the Move. I am your host, Mike McLaren. Today we're going to feature a great partnership that the Salem Chamber enjoys with the Salem-Keizer School District. Our program, Ready to Learn, Ready to Work, in addition to a great program coming up in March as a part of that, Career Connections. I'd like to introduce as one of my guests, and we'll have two others that are introduced momentarily, Sue Bloom, who teams with Kathy Moore as the Chamber's workforce development team. And they run and operate the Ready to Learn, Ready to Work program, which, as a matter of fact, has just been awarded a significant honor, which I think our entire community can be proud of. Sue, would you like to tell us about that recent award?
Absolutely. Ready to Learn, Ready to Work was recently recognized by the Western Association of Chamber Executives as an outstanding new program. And that really is all about the partnership between the school district and the business community and how we've really risen to the occasion of supporting our youth to be successful following high school. So we really appreciate that recognition and that partnership.
The Western Association of Chamber Executives is an association that covers 18 states in the western United States, and as a part of that honor, Sue enjoyed being able to share the details of that with areas around the western United States that look to replicate that, and that's nothing new for our chamber, as we have many requests to duplicate programs such as the Leadership Youth Program, which is another piece of the partnership that we have with the Salem-Keizer School District. Well, Ready to Learn, Ready to Work has enjoyed numerous successes. Maybe to start us off, Sue, would you like to introduce our two guests and then talk briefly about what Ready to Learn, Ready to Work does, and then I'd like to get on into the Career Connections event coming up in March.
Terrific. I'd love to do that. I'm sitting just next to me is Jill Nowacki, who's the Vice President of Development for MAPS Credit Union and a great partner with the Chamber and the community. And sitting next to Jill is Judy Peterson, who's the Career Specialist at McNary High School, and just shared that you've been the Career Specialist for 26 years at McNary.
Yes,
so
right.
she's a great resource for her students and the families at McNary, and we work very closely with all the career specialists at the high schools. So Career Connections, that we'll talk about in a moment, is just one part of Ready to Learn, Ready to Work. And just to share the impact of the program, last year we had over 1,100 volunteer hours by our business partners. And really what their role is to connect with students, help them bring relevance into what they're learning in the classroom, and really help them broaden their horizons about what's possible after high school, what kind of careers are out there, what kind of opportunities out there, the importance of soft skills and good solid ethics in the workplace, and just really truly broadening their horizons and giving them opportunities to engage and be ready to be successful after high school.
Just briefly talking about that for a moment, Judy, you know, you've been involved in the Ready to Learn, Ready to Work program
Right.
from its inception,
Absolutely.
and have seen firsthand businesses coming into the classroom. What is your take on the impact that that program is having on students?
It's tremendous. The actual value that it comes to us is that every student has a chance to be aware of what goes on in the outside world. You know, that's what we kind of call it until they get there. And they learn, exactly like Sue was saying, you know, they learn about skills that they need to be active and be successful in the workplace. And that just comes from having that cooperation with the other businesses in the community. And we all are partners, there's no doubt about that. We bring them in as guest speakers. We bring them in as mock interviewing in the classrooms. We're just getting ready to set one of those up now. And we'll do that throughout the year. And so working on internships and working on job shadows, my goodness, how great that is to have that connection and to have all the supportiveness that we have from the Chamber and also from the business community. So it couldn't be more valuable to our students.
Judy and I right now are working on solidifying some internships for advanced auto tech students at McNary.
Yes.
So we have several places in Keizer and the Salem area that are interested in taking on those students, help train them,
Right.
and they'll receive school credit for that.
They'll receive credit for that, and they will learn exactly what goes on in that business, and they'll have a hands-on experience. So which is the valuable part of having them take part in internships, is that they get that experience of actually doing the job, and that's the value of that.
And that can mean so much. It's not only exposing students to business people that tell them, as you say, what's expected and what's needed to be successful in the business world.
Yeah.
But in many cases, it's really opening the eyes and wonder, if you will, of the students' imagination as to the job possibilities that do exist, because that in itself creates hope that there is a future and job opportunities that do exist that may fit the skill sets or the passions or desires of our youth. And so that conveyance of skills and work ethic that's needed, but the number of different job opportunities that have such a wide range is so critical.
And when they actually get into the experience, then they learn that there's many other occupations that go with that job that they think that they wanted to have. So it's so valuable, and it's probably the most important part of all the education that we give them and the training that they give, is to be able to get out in the community and be able to actually see what's going on.
Right. And MAPS is a great example of what Judy just said. Is you think credit union, you think it's a financial institution, but there's so much that goes on within MAPS Credit Union that is professional, it's service oriented, it's marketing and development, it's that whole range. So when you think credit union, it's not a teller, or it's not a loan agent. There's so many ways to be involved in just that one industry. The hospital's another example of that's a whole world unto itself, that you can be in food service, you could be in housekeeping, or you could be a neurosurgeon. Where do you want to fit, and where does your excitement and interest take you?
One of the most exciting things that happens from my role in it is that those students come back to me and say, "Oh, did you know this was happening?" or "Did you know this was available?" And I'll say, "Isn't that exciting that you could learn that and actually be part of it?" And so they come back and they say, "Well, did you know that they do something that," they say, like I had one girl that was out with a hairdresser, and she says, "Well, I don't know that I could do this job because they stand all day long." And she says, "And they don't take a lunch." And it's little things like that they come back and they say they're either terribly excited about it, or they say, "Well, I know that I want to move on and do something different." So what an experience to be able to have.
Those revelations are so critical.
Absolutely.
The Leadership Youth Program last month got to experience the 911 Center, and so they saw the complexity and the urgency and demand on the 911 call operators. And some had the same reaction. Some thought, "Boy, I think that would be fascinating to do." Others really gained a significant appreciation for those that do that job, because they thought, "Oh, I would never be able to handle all those multi-faceted demands on my time in that sort of environment."
They would never learn that in a classroom.
Right, to see that firsthand.
Yeah.
We are thrilled to have Jill with us, and the MAPS team is always just well represented in a lot of our endeavors as a chamber. And in March coming up, our Career Connections will feature MAPS as our presenting sponsor, which is something that we're very excited about. Perhaps, Jill, you would like to explain why you get involved as you do personally, and why the MAPS team does in general, and then we'll go into more of the detail of what Career Connections is and where it has come from. It bears a new name, so we probably ought to share what it used to be called and why it is called what it is now. But I'd really like to welcome Jill and have her share a little bit about MAPS involvement.
Well, as you know, MAPS really prides itself in our community involvement, and part of the reason for that is because as a community chartered credit union, we feel like it's our role to be a strong partner to the community. Specific to MAPS, that's unique from most other financial institutions, is that we actually have branches in 3 of the local high schools here, and we really pride ourselves with those relationships that we have with the schools and with the students. We work closely with their marketing teachers or their DECA advisors in the schools to actually have those students come in and run the branches. So they are there getting that hands-on experience during the school year, and they're able to work with their fellow students, opening accounts and doing everything that it really takes to run the credit union. And then during the summers, we actually get those students as interns in the branch too. And so many of them have gone on to work for MAPS as full-time employees. And